As we think about new teachers, I think the best thing we can do is invest in them. As our business community, they invest in their employees. We should allow our new teachers to go visit other classrooms, to sit with their mentor teachers and give quality time with them, not 20 minutes after work and how was your day, but to allow them to know how to craft their lesson plans, what good instructions to allow not only your administrators but their mentors to come in and visit and give good constructive feedback.
I think you're right, and I think so often districts in Georgia, when it comes to teacher induction programs, we all fall into that trap of, okay, we've got 2 days and we got to do all the things when they're there. We got to show them how to log into their email. We got to show them, how they're going to get their paychecks. And so districts just bring these new teachers in, and it's like information overload. And so although sometimes those things are necessary, it'd be interesting to think and wrap our minds around, how do we redo that? How do we change that? Because as part of our teacher induction program, they come back to our buildings for time with the principals, and it's always been my experience by the time they get back to us, it's just like, so I always do my best just to leave them alone at that point, because they need time to digest and they need time to think. But then to circle back and to say, like you said, okay, I'm here. What do you need? What are your questions now? What are the things you need for us to support? But I think time is just so important. We got to give them that time to process and think. And then throughout the year, I set up each 9 weeks, my new teachers have just a PD day, a whole day out of the classroom.
That's great.
Where we bring them in and we have different topics. So rather than throwing everything at the new teachers in July before they start, we try to unpack those things for them gradually throughout the year. And every time we have one of those PD days, we do peer observation. So you just talked about that time in seeing other great teachers. And I remember as a new teacher, that was where I learned the most, was when I got to go see other people.
Well, I think, take it from an athletic standpoint, when you have a great quarterback and they're a rookie, they spend time with their offensive coordinator, head coach, and learning the game. We ought to put that time in when it comes to educators, the principal as the head coach, the offensive coordinator as their mentor, and to work with them, spend time with them, listening. That's the most important thing, because they do struggle. And let them know the sun comes up tomorrow, even though you had a bad day today. Don't let that stop you from being a great educator. Or you may have difficulties with behavior issues. Send them to a classroom where there's a teacher who has good control of a class, and ask them, what did you see? How can you implement those things? The most important thing for us to do is to follow up.
Yes.
Don't just say it, but follow up and have conversation with them.
And debrief with them after those visits. What did you see, using your Marzano structures? What did you see that affirmed you?
Right.
What did you see that calls you to action? And what are your next steps? Those are my 3 questions when I take my new teachers to go visit other peers, is just taking them back to what affirms your current practices, but what is something new that you can take from that. I also think we've got to consider new teacher development and growth as not just a 1-year thing.
No.
Because they're not just new for 1 year. They're new for almost 3 years is kind of the way I see it, that cycle of, storming, conforming, then norming. So making sure that those, want a full day every 9 weeks to continue over 3 years, so that you're continuing to build their capacity and growth and pouring into them until they finally can be the leaders of other people as well.
I think we should do it like the medical field, 3 years of residency, and spend those years with them with the master teacher and your leaders there to support them and to help them grow. Because they may be a first-year teacher, but they have a lot to offer, and we've invested a lot into them, so affirm what they're doing.
And people might be watching this and thinking, well, where do you get the money to do, 1 day in 9 weeks? But I think one thing the pandemic has taught us is that we can do a lot more than we really think we can, and that we can be creative and find ways to give those people that sacred space.
And even if that means we're covering for them, we're still teachers at heart, even if that means we have to cover for them to get that experience of going to visiting other classrooms.
I agree. Okay.